Good evening. I'm House Republican Leader Billy Bob Fockingham of Winter Harbor. It's from the perspective of a husband, father of three, and tax-paying, bill-paying Mainer that I deliver tonight's response. Tonight, the governor delivered her State of the State address. But the real state of Maine isn't found in prepared remarks. It's felt at the kitchen table, at the gas pump, and when the electric bill arrives. Maine people are hurting. We face some of the largest electric cost increases in the nation, some of the highest taxes, and a cost of living that keeps rising while wages fall behind. People are doing everything right, working hard, playing by the rules, and still falling further behind. That is not the Maine promise. Our greatest exports should be lobsters, blueberries, potatoes, and lumber, not our young people. Yet too many are leaving because they can't afford to stay, can't find opportunity, or don't see a future here. After 8 years of one-party Democratic leadership, the results are clear. Out-of-state corporations are thriving. Solar scammers are cashing in. Meanwhile, Maine's traditional industries, fishing, forestry, farming, and manufacturing are struggling to survive. That's not progress, that's neglect. Our healthcare system is in crisis, especially in rural Maine. Hospitals are operating in the red. Services are being cut. Access to care is shrinking. Families are left wondering where they'll go in an emergency. At the same time, we've seen widespread welfare fraud and abuse, particularly in the Maine care system. Fraudsters have targeted it, and what we know today may only be the beginning. That's taxpayer money, meant to help vulnerable people, money that comes from families already stretched thin. This administration has turned its back on Maine's girls, telling them they don't deserve a level playing field in sports or privacy in their spaces. We reject that. Every child deserves fairness. Every girl deserves an opportunity. Despite soaring energy costs, crushing taxes, and a rising cost of living, Mainers are being told the state still wants more taxes, more fees, more regulation. Businesses hear that message clearly. And then we ask why they don't come or why they leave. Who can survive high taxes, high energy costs, and endless regulation? The truth is, the state is poor, but the people of Maine are strong. They've endured, they've adapted, they've survived. But it should not be this hard to live, work, or raise a family in the state we love. Maine is the most beautiful state in the country. We have abundant natural resources, skilled workers, and proud communities. Under the right leadership, we can also be one of the most prosperous states in America. I believe Mainers are ready for a new direction. One where hard work is rewarded, where merit matters, where businesses are welcomed, not punished, and where jobs are created here because companies can afford to stay. Maine can do better. Maine must do better. And together, I believe we will.
I'm Senator Trey Stewart from Aroostook County, and I'm honored to serve as the Republican leader in the Maine Senate. Maine isn't complicated. We believe in right and wrong. You work hard, you tell the truth, and you take responsibility, especially if you're in charge. Tonight, we have to be honest. That's no longer the case. After nearly 8 years of one-party control, Maine finds itself dealing with fraud, deception, and decay. Taxes are rising, fees are piling up, families are paying more for everyday life while government keeps asking for more, even now forcing us to pay new taxes on things like streaming services. At the same time, our education system has fallen from where it once stood near the top nationally to rankings that should concern every parent in this state. And fraud that was once isolated has become widespread, accepted, explained away, and too often ignored. This did not happen by accident. We got here for one reason and one reason only: failed leadership. A failure to protect taxpayers, a failure to protect our kids, and a failure to protect basic accountability and public trust. The governor and I agree on one thing: Maine people are struggling. Where we disagree is on why and what comes next. Republicans believe Mainers aren't struggling because government is too small or taxes are too low. They're struggling because government lost sight of its role and its responsibility. That's why legislative Republicans are fighting for real, common sense tax relief. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and a higher standard deduction so families can keep more of what they earn. These reforms reward work, respect effort, and give people breathing room again. Yet, we're told the state can't afford this, while there never seems to be a shortage of money for new programs, new bureaucracies, and new government initiatives. There's always money to grow government, but never enough to give relief to the people paying the bills. That's not a budget problem. That's a priorities problem. We also hear a lot about increased state spending on education and revenue sharing with towns, programs that were meant to lower property taxes. Yet Maine still ranks among the highest property tax states in the nation, while education outcomes continue to slide. Money isn't the problem. Leadership is. The same is true with MaineCare. As serious allegations of fraud continue to surface, Republicans believe accountability is not optional. Every dollar lost to fraud is a dollar taken from a child, a senior, or a person with disabilities who truly depends on that program. Protecting taxpayers and protecting the vulnerable go hand in hand. But here's the most important point tonight. This can change. Maine has faced hard moments before, and we've met them with responsibility and resolve. More than a century ago, Maine leader Joshua Chamberlain reminded us of what real leadership looks like when he said, quote, "The power of ideas is in the example they set." Leadership matters because examples matter, and Maine deserves better examples from those in charge. We can choose a different path, one that restores trust, rewards work, protects the vulnerable, and lives within its means. Republicans are ready to lead with clarity, accountability, and common sense. Maine's best days are not behind us, but getting back there requires leadership willing to tell the truth and strong enough to act on it. Again, I'm Senator Trace Stewart of Aroostook County, and I thank you for joining me tonight. God bless our great state and our great nation.